What's going on, guys, and welcome to I think this is the 27th episode? 26? 27? Anyways, welcome to the War Cry Podcast. I'm your host, your whole Tiger. You know, giving you all kind of a late episode, I guess. This is being recorded Monday evening. But, I got some few things I want to talk about, just kind of keeping it light, but also kind of keeping it kind of heavy, too, because I know you guys have been asking for it, and had a few people reach out and say, "Man, you need to do another mysterious disappearances episode." Well, I got one that's based out of here in Oklahoma. But before we get to that, yeah, I've been watching different shows and movies, and I'm about to give you some recommendations on kind of what I've been kind of watching. And first movie, and this is a kind of a crazy one. And I know that on previous episode I discussed clones. Well, there's a documentary on Netflix that just dropped, I think, this past week, and it's called King of Clones. It's about a South Korean doctor, who became the king of clones, and he's working right now, and it kind of details his progress. He originally started out with dogs. He started out with cats. He's basically cloned every type of animal that he can get his hands on. They cloned a tiger. I guess there was like two Korean tigers that were like the last two in the whole country of Korea, and they ended up cloning them. And so this guy, details out, his entire journey, and I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys, but it's pretty crazy. I mentioned the woolly mammoths. They mentioned that in the Netflix documentary. So go check that out. It's called King of Clones. Next one, this is going to be kind of greasy, kind of cheesy, but Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth. If you watch the first one's really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This one's just a tad kind of Marvel superhero-ish, like Fast and the Furious level superheroes, except you don't hear the word family. All you need is family by Vin Diesel. But go check that out. It's on Netflix. Just dropped this past week. I'm not gonna get too much into that one. Y'all know it's basically all the action movies combined into one. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's pretty solid. Another kind of a weird movie, indie movie that stars Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter. It's very strange because it's this movie takes place in a psychiatric facility, inpatient facility, and everyone in the facility has kind of like a mental illness when it comes to, like, they act like animals, and they've taken on the characteristics of animals. And so it details this guy's journey in this kind of psychiatric hospital type setting, and where he meets Lily Depp Rose, and it's kind of makes you feel bad, like the way they treated those people. But at the same time, it's like, why are you acting like a parrot, or like, why are you dropping deuces like randomly in your room? You have to watch it, but it's called Wolf, and I saw that on HBO Max or Max, whatever. Go check that out. Another movie I saw on Max that kind of made me feel weird, kind of gave me a kind of a weird vibe, was called Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. She's the only, I think, major actor in that movie. But basically, she plays an alien who's disguised as a beautiful woman, and she lures men into her van. Yes, that is the premise. Kind of wild, but it made me feel weird. I don't know what about it. Like, it made me uncomfortable because it's like the creepers in the van. Like, oh, you want some candy, little kid? It's like the opposite of that, like a beautiful woman. And some of this, like the stuff, like the imagery is kind of strange. I'm gonna recommend it to you guys because maybe you guys maybe have a different feeling than I did about it. But it's called Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. But the movie I'm gonna recommend the most to you guys tonight, whenever you're listening to this, is The Mule on Netflix. I saw it on Netflix, but I also saw it back when it came out. And this stars Clint Eastwood as an old man, and he's basically a runner for the cartel. And he's not been a very good manager of money. He's a horticulturist, I think. He has abandoned his family multiple times, and he's not a good dude. Like he plays this old man who you're like, oh, you kind of feel bad for him, but he's kind of a hole. But and it's called The Mule, and it was I saw it on Netflix, but you can see it in multiple places. Go check that out. And so those are my 5 movies. I'm going to go ahead and recommend 3 TV shows. If you have not seen From on MGM Plus, do it right now. Go get the 7-day free trial. Go watch it. I am in love with this show. Basically, I can't remember his name. Henry Perot plays Sheriff Stevens in this town where no one can leave. So you enter the town through this road, and once you enter the town, you can't leave, and there's monsters that come out at night that can kill you and that eat you. Basically, eat all your organs out. Super wicked show. Season 2 just ended, just wrapped up this past weekend. Man, I cannot say enough. You definitely go check that out. Go get the 7-day free trial of MGM Plus and binge watch that stuff because it's really good. The setup on it's really good. Go check it out. Next one is Servant by M. Night Shyamalan on Apple TV Plus. Me and Betsy binge watched that. 4 seasons. The main characters, Dorothy drives me absolutely nuts. But basically, it starts off as a family that loses their child in a tragic accident and hire a nanny. And there's a lot of other things that are attached to this nanny. It's a supernatural / kind of antichrist type thing. But M. Night Shyamalan, man, he's that guy. And I will always recommend M. Night Shyamalan. And y'all can hate on me, but I love The Happening. Y'all can hate on me, put my hands up, but I love that movie. But go watch it. Apple TV Plus, Servant. And the final TV show is on Apple TV Plus, and it's C with Jason Momoa. And I believe the 2nd season has Dave Bautista, the wrestler. Man, this show is kind of crazy because, like, everybody's blind except for 2 kids. And the fight scenes are, like, pretty bomb. Like, because they, like, use they use, like, different weapons to, like, make sounds to know when someone's close. It's kind of crazy. But it's C on Apple TV Plus. I want to ruin it because there's a lot of, if I give the plot away, you're probably going to be like, dang, he just ruined it for me. But go check that out. So Jack Grimes and Dwayne Selby on October 21st and 22nd. It was reported on 21st. As you guys heard, a silver alert was activated for Jack Grimes. He was obviously supposed to meet his friend Dwayne, and they're supposed to go to basically a kind of a horse show in Fort Worth, Texas. They never made it, according to the reports. But they were supposed to return home on that Monday, but no one had heard anything, hadn't received any calls. The family was reaching out and trying to call, and it was a lot of unanswered calls. And the family was also worried that Grimes, could have had, that he had diabetes and then he needed to take some medicine, his insulin. And so they never heard nothing from those guys. And, later on in the week, as things continue to kind of, snowball, more information gets out there, their car was found. And the deputies immediately started searching. When they found the car, they began to search for the 2 men in Mohawk Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They, basically found it around 4:30 in the morning, and they basically deployed their canine unit into the park, but they didn't find anything of either man. Family members also kind of mentioned too that they were seen at a cafe in Purcell around 6:30 on Friday night. But the sheriff's office, Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, they basically reported and contacted the restaurant, and they could not corroborate that those men were there Friday night. And so with those guys going missing, you know, that's to me, you it kind of hits home because I lived in Tulsa for some time, and was around that area and had been, Mohawk Park is used by Cherokee Nation for different events because that's kind of the northernmost part of kind of Tulsa, and that it's in on the res. But the part that's really strange to me, honestly, is the fact that both guys go missing, and Glenda Cookie Parton, she was 80. She was from the Pryor area, but she was last seen searching for these two men on this ranch up in Turley in North Tulsa, basically looking for her son. Which is kind of crazy, is that she goes missing too. Nowhere to be found. But there was video evidence that, when she was in a local business in Turley, that she was accompanied by a man, an unidentified man. Well, they basically saw that she's there with that unidentified man in that business the night before she went missing. Now, they come to find out that the identified man was basically located, and he was questioned, and they basically couldn't corroborate anything, couldn't get him anything because he basically didn't know where they were at, where any of those people were. But then later on, her 2016 Kia Rio was found abandoned on the side of the road of Highway 75 near 56th Street in North Tulsa on October 25th. Which is crazy because, it's just crazy that those guys went missing. And then she was found, and then she goes missing. So, what raises my mind is it a serial killer up there, or is it, someone, has ties to some things up there? Well, it wasn't just them three that went missing. A man named Shannon Miller, who was a member of the Cherokee Nation, was last seen on October 19th. And is number 4. It is the fourth person missing from that Turley area in that month span. Now, his girlfriend left for work early that morning, and when she returned home, Miller was gone. The car he was driving was found by his girlfriend on October 21st at 106th Street North on the bridge over Bird Creek. What's kind of crazy about his disappearance is that basically his phone was in the car, and they found his wallet and other belongings near the water of that creek. The family ended up calling and reporting him missing on the 25th. So that's the fourth person in that park or in that area that had went missing within this month span, which is crazy. So this was reported on November 1st, but human remains were found and discovered in a local area west of Turley. The remains were discovered by a group of hunters, kind of 61st Street North and North York Train Avenue. They said that basically the deputies said that wildlife had kind of spread the remains, out, so due to predation, so which made it difficult to recover a lot of the remains. Well, the remains ended up being Jack Grimes, the original guy who went missing. What's crazy is that from that time on November 1st, they had done multiple searches. They looked into Jack Grimes' home to see if they could find anything. They searched the places that both Glenda Parton and Jack Grimes and Dwayne Selby, they tried to locate them and tried to basically find any bit of evidence they could to find these people. And with finding Jack Grimes' remains, that then turns over to possibly a homicide or foul play. One thing that was kind of crazy to me was that they, in April, just I think about anywhere from 6 months after, 7 months after, deputies used cadaver dogs to search 3 areas, but they didn't recover any evidence of the search. And then they also in March of 2022 they searched Grimes' home for any evidence to get a break in the case. And I know in October, and I think mid-October, they did a year, kind of a year-long type of honoring, I guess, really, but just basically asking for information. So one thing I found, very interesting, is so multiple news agencies, had reported this case, and one thing that the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office said, what's kind of a quote from their communications person, that it's been weird from the beginning. The fact that we have a woman looking for her son and she goes missing as well, and the fact that we've only been able to find Jack is bizarre. They also said that the case is far from cold, and this was reported on October 27, 2022, so about exactly a year. So the man that they identified, eventually they found out to be a ranch hand for, I think it was Dwayne Selby. But they questioned the man and they basically released him, but he is still not ruled out as a suspect of this case. But this Fox 23 did an interview with, I think it was, believe, the sister or the sister-in-law, and the sister-in-law says she knows exactly who the man was pictured with her mother. It's her mother-in-law. His name was John, and basically he was a ranch hand, and he did different ranch duties. One thing I find very interesting is they actually the mother or the daughter-in-law actually left her. So it was quoted her saying, let's see if I can find this, because I want to make sure I get this right. It was kind of odd though. She basically said that she saw her the night before that she went missing, and that she asked her to leave and come home, and she wouldn't. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not saying that she did it, but the fact that she didn't want to come home. Basically, she said that her mother-in-law had no reason not to trust that she would vanish by the next day. I don't think there was a moment she thought anything was wrong, but things would take a turn the night because Carol and Jack's sister Nancy would both report that she had either saw or spoke with Cookie when she was left alone with John at the men's home. I heard a man's voice on the phone, and his voice was that he was in the room with her. Carol said that about the last phone call she would have with Cookie. She said at the end of the night, after a long day of searching, she would last see Cookie at the Turley Ranch alone with John. The next morning she had vanished. But, and then the daughter-in-law went on to say, we can't help but think that she found something out or saw something. We don't know. We hate that this happened. I tried to get her to come home with me, but she didn't want to. She wanted to stay there. And then Nancy went on to say that she saw Cookie's car in the driveway of the men's home the night she disappeared. Carol said that a family member also reported Cookie's car was in the driveway of the Turley Ranch before they went to bed. That family member lived nearby and could see the ranch out their windows. And what's crazy is no one knows how the car got out on Highway 75. So to this day, they obviously found Jack Grimes' remains, but they still don't know where Dwayne Selby and Cookie Parton are to this day, and even Shannon Miller. And I kind of feel weird sometimes about doing mysterious disappearance episodes, because these are real people. It's not like it's a show that I can just nitpick. I just find very odd things about this case, and if anyone has any information regarding this case and regarding these people, so they can be found and brought home. I know, I've never had anyone go missing or disappear, and to me it's just very strange that there's certain things that have happened in this case for them to be gone. So I want to end the podcast. I want to end this episode by saying, hopefully they find some type of peace and evidence to where they can bring their family home until they know what happened to these three people and the four people. I'm so reading. I followed this story when it first came out back in 2021, and I never really saw kind of what the closure was, and there hasn't been. The last reported that I have seen, now I could be wrong, but was October 27th, 2022. And so, thoughts, hopefully, we, maybe the podcast hits someone's ear that knows something, hopefully, but this is the end of the episode. I appreciate everyone for listening. And like I said, hopefully, those people can get some closure and those families can get some closures. But you can find me on Facebook, Yehola Tiger. Message me if you listen to the podcast. Let me know, so I'll add you as a friend on Facebook. One Man Band 918 for TikTok and Twitter. Eventually, I'm going to get an Instagram. I haven't really, I'm kind of too busy at this time. But YouTube War Cry Podcast. And let me know what you guys think about the episode. Let me know what next topic, if you want me to do a part 3 of Mysterious Disappearances, or if you want to, any other topics that you guys might have. I'll have a poll at the end of this. But I appreciate you guys listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.